He's a jock. She's a nerd. They're just shy. We use labels like these every day, often without a second thought. But have you ever stopped to consider the incredible power these simple words hold over our reality? How they shape not just how we see others, but how we see ourselves. Think about it. The human brain is a marvel, but it's also a fan of shortcuts. When we meet someone new, it takes less than a second to form a first impression. In that blink of an eye, we create a mental file, a label, based on superficial traits like their clothes, their accent, or how they carry themselves. We categorize them, slotting them into a box that feels familiar. This isn't because we're bad people. It's a cognitive shortcut, a way to make sense of a complex social world. But here's the catch. These first impressions are notoriously unreliable. They're riddled with unconscious biases and can be incredibly misleading. We might mistake shyness for arrogance or quietness for a lack of intelligence. These labels don't just stay in our heads. They have a profound impact on our behavior and identity. When we label someone, we create a set of expectations for them. And strangely enough, people often start to live up or down to those expectations. This is what sociologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy. If a teacher is told a student is gifted, they might give that student more attention and challenging work, which in turn helps the student excel. Conversely, a negative label can limit a person's opportunities and even damage their self-perception, reinforcing stereotypes and leading them to believe the label is true. It can make them feel like they belong to a certain group, but it also oversimplifies their complex, unique identity into a single word. On a larger scale, this leads to societal biases and even discrimination, subtly guiding our social interactions in ways we don't even notice. Understanding this process is the first step toward breaking free from it and fostering a more inclusive world. So how do we start seeing beyond these labels? We need to actively challenge our initial impressions and recognize that every individual is a universe of complexity. This becomes critically important when we talk about labels that carry a heavy weight of stigma and misinformation, like autistic. Let's dive into that. When you hear the word autism, what comes to mind? For many, the picture is a collage of myths and stereotypes, often painted by outdated information or inaccurate media portrayals. The reality is that autism is a spectrum. It's not a single story, but a vast library of unique human experiences. There isn't one way to be autistic. Each person has a unique combination of strengths and challenges, different ways of communicating, and distinct interests. Thinking of it as a linear scale from less to more autistic is a fundamental misunderstanding. It's more like a color wheel, with different traits showing up in varying intensities for each person. This is why dispelling the myths surrounding autism is so crucial. One of the most persistent and harmful myths is about its cause. You've probably heard it before: the debunked theory linking autism to vaccines. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence to the contrary, this misinformation continues to circulate, causing real harm. It fuels fear, distracts from genuine scientific research into the complex mix of genetic and environmental factors that do influence autism, and can lead to a decline in vaccination rates, which is a major public health risk. Another damaging misconception is that autism is caused by bad parenting or an unloving home environment. This belief places an immense and unfair burden of blame and guilt on families who are already navigating a complex journey. These myths don't just create confusion. They actively deepen the stigma against the neurodivergent community, leading to inadequate support systems and fostering a climate of misunderstanding rather than acceptance. It's time for a major perspective shift. Autism is not a disease that needs to be cured. It's not something a person outgrows. It is a lifelong neurodevelopmental difference, an integral part of a person's identity. Viewing it as a defect that needs fixing completely misses the point and undermines the entire concept of neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is the simple but powerful idea that brain differences like autism are a natural part of human variation. Just as we have biodiversity in nature, we have neurodiversity in our population. Fostering this understanding is key. When we see autism not as a deficit, but as a different way of thinking, perceiving, and interacting with the world, we can begin to appreciate the unique strengths and perspectives that autistic individuals bring to our society. This shift away from a cure mindset and towards one of acceptance and support is vital for creating environments where autistic people can truly thrive. So how do we fight the tide of misinformation and build a more inclusive society? It starts with education and representation. For too long, the narrative around autism has been controlled by non-autistic voices, often resulting in portrayals that are stereotypical at best and deeply harmful at worst. We've seen the autistic savant trope, the character who is a genius but lacks basic social skills, or the portrayal of autism as a tragic burden. These stereotypes flatten the rich, diverse reality of autistic lives and reinforce biases. When media constantly shows a one-dimensional version of autism, it shapes public perception, fuels stigma, and makes it harder for autistic individuals to be seen for who they truly are. It can hinder their ability to get jobs, form relationships, and feel accepted in their communities. But here's the good news: the tide is turning. We're seeing a powerful shift towards more authentic representation, driven by a simple but revolutionary idea: nothing about us without us. Autistic creators, writers, consultants, and actors are increasingly taking the lead in telling their own stories. When media projects collaborate with the autistic community, the result is authentic, nuanced characters that audiences can connect with. Think about it: when you see a character on screen who reflects your own experiences, it's incredibly validating. It provides a relatable role model and fosters a sense of belonging. For non-autistic audiences, these authentic portrayals build a bridge of empathy. They challenge preconceived notions and replace fear of the unknown with genuine understanding. This isn't just about making people feel good. It has real-world consequences. Positive, accurate media representation is one of the most powerful tools we have to reduce stigma, promote societal integration, and champion the acceptance of neurodiversity. So let's make a conscious effort. The next time you find yourself reaching for a label, pause, ask yourself what you're really seeing and what you might be missing. Let's challenge our first impressions, seek out authentic stories, and listen to the voices of those with lived experience. By choosing to see the complex, unique person beyond the label, we can not only dismantle harmful stereotypes but also build a more compassionate and understanding world for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If this conversation resonated with you, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content that challenges our perceptions. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.